Next one. Hi, Abraham. I started a new relationship about 8 years ago, and almost immediately felt my inner being telling me that this man was not what I wanted. Now, your inner being was not telling you that. What your inner being was doing was holding to the things that you'd been asking for. And when you focused in the relationship and saw things that didn't match that, you felt that discord, and you felt it was a message from your inner being. We would call it absolute guidance to let you know that the thought that you held when you felt that way was not in harmony with what your inner being was thinking about the same. That's different than what you wrote here. We're reading again. Fear of not being able to attract something better has kept me in the relationship. It hasn't been all bad, and I've done my best to appreciate the good parts. But overall, it's been a pain. That's not what this says. What this says is it's been a path of much resistance. That's what pain is, isn't it? Pain, negative emotion. That's just how you feel when you're on a path of resistance. But remember the conversation we just had about this mother and her 3 daughters? Where's the resistance coming from? Does it mean that this is the wrong person? Does it mean that? Or does it mean you're using aspects of that relationship to hold yourself on a path of resistance? You say, I know I was actively ignoring the nuggets from my inner being, and now I'm far down a path that was never right for me. We understand how you've come to that conclusion, but that isn't the conclusion that your inner being has come to, because your inner being has never and will never make another person in your life the reason for the way you feel. You can master this, and when you do, your path of least resistance will unfold for you, and you will get what you want. We're not saying that you are not on a path maybe for a better relationship. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying to you is you cannot get there from here. You can't get to where you want to be by identifying the culprit or the reason that you're not where you want to be. You can't blame it on this man. You can't even blame it on your past reactions to this person. Your path is either more open or more closed right here and now. And you can tell by the way you feel whether you're allowing it to trend open or to trend closed. Esther's been thinking about some things recently relative to some relationships. One in particular that has never been easy. It's required really, really a lot of calibration in order to hold steady. And so she said to herself, I don't need to walk down any paths of resistance. I don't need to walk down that path. I don't need to make something work that's hard. There are so many paths that are easy. And so we want to put it to Esther and to all of you. What makes you cling to a difficult path? It has never worked for you. Difficult paths always lead to unpleasant things. But it doesn't mean that you have to walk away from the relationship or the person. It means you must find a path of lesser resistance right where you stand. And when you do, the universe will provide a viable, natural, comfortable unfolding. We know this is hard to hear, and some of you are sitting confused right now. Well, should I go or should I stay? Abraham, what is it that you're trying to say? What we are wanting so far are choices of the emails that you sent in. We want you to understand that we chose these particular things so that you would understand. Letting go of resistance doesn't mean walking away from relationships, although it helps for a little while. Letting go of resistance is choosing thoughts on all subjects that feel good when you find them. And then that trending will lead you to optimum, delicious relationships. So let's talk about the path of least resistance. Is it really the path of least resistance to walk away from a husband of 20 years? or from children? Is that the path of least resistance? Can you feel how, through all of the trending that you've done with these people, how many rockets of desires that you've launched? Can you feel what a big part of who you are has happened because of those relationships? And do you think that walking away from a person is going to change that, change who you've become, or change your inner being's appreciation and attention and calibration to who you really are? Conditional love would say, I don't like these conditions, I'm done with it, I'm out of here. Unconditional love says, I'm going to find love. I'm going to get so good at finding love. I'm going to learn to focus. I'm going to look for love. I'm going to find love. I'm going to be love. And as I walk around as a beaming signal of love, all manner of lovely things are going to come into my experience. From the insect world, from the animal kingdom, from the human species, from the thought vortex. And things are going to line up for me in such amazing, comprehensible, understandable, sequential ways that I'm going to know when it manifests that it is the byproduct of my focus and that I am indeed the deliberate creator of my experience. No longer blaming this and that and you 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 for how I feel. Accepting how I feel, taking ownership of where I am, and allowing myself to lovingly be called by my inner being to the position of cooperative component with all that I desire, to the whole of who I am. Do not misunderstand. In no way here are we encouraging staying or going. We're just saying, you're supposed to feel good. Life is supposed to feel good for you. And if it doesn't, it's on you. So then you want to say, in a beating up attitude on yourself, then you want to say, I haven't done well at this. I'm not good at this. And what we want to reply back to you is, it's okay. You are where you are. And if this conversation rang some of your bells, you know more clearly what to do. But we will never stop saying these words to you. Everything that you believe you want is for one reason only. You think you will feel better in the having of it. Whether it's a relationship, a different relationship, an improved relationship, a pile of money, a different house, an occupation, an empire, a circumstance, an event, it doesn't matter what the subject is. The reason you want it is because you believe you will feel better. And so when we say to you, the path to feeling better is the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is the path to all of the subjects that you desire. We would like so much for you to be able to see the contents of your vortex as we do, and understand the perfection of the culmination of the gathering of the cooperative components. It's so fun for you when you have trended in the direction of feeling good for a while, for you to then begin watching. Esther says the magic is happening as she watches great, big, juggernaut things falling easily into place. As cooperative components from all around her atmosphere converge to assist her in the accomplishment, in the creation of wanted things. That feeling of being blessed, that feeling of worthiness, that feeling of having control of your life experience is what deliberate creators like you, that's what you live for, that's who you are, and nothing less than that will do for you. And if that requires, for a little while, trusting the unseen improvements, then if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd go for that. We would stop demanding proof that we are incapable of seeing right now. But we would not judge ourselves about being incapable of seeing it. That doesn't make you bad or wrong or not a good creator. It just means It hasn't trended enough. You haven't trended enough in the direction of it in order to see it, but you will. You don't condemn the crop in the ground just because you can't see it, and you must not condemn the unseen improvements in your life experience. Your bodily conditions, that's a big one. The cells of your body are in constant conspiracy with your inner being for the well-being of you. Only you can block that in your misunderstanding, in your harsh judgment of self, in your condemnation of yourself for some ridiculous reason that your inner being will never do, that source will never do. Your religions have really done a number on the population of this planet as they imply with their forcefulness that God condemns you. That's a made-up thing. It's a made-up thing. Humans make it up to justify their negative emotion.